Once upon a time, there was a young man, a lonely man, a naive child of a turbulent and tubular decade, defined by media-inflated irrational fears derived from a lack of a clearly outlined social-political threat to the stability of Western civilization. And silly pants. Yes, there were also silly pants in the 90s. But I digress. This lad used to live in an internet-less environment, isolated from the metamorphosis of global connectivity that his world was going through. Don't laugh. So when the time finally came for him to officially enter the 21st century via cybernetic traveling, he was taken aback at the sights he had seen. Sights of infinite creativity where the power of imagination ruled supreme. He witnessed tales of wonderment and unlimited potential, adventures and fantastic journeys as far as the eye could see. Weirdly titillating romances that defied common sense, and a strange obsession with brother characters taking a bath together. Oddly enough, he had just discovered fan fiction. He wanted to be part of that world. He longed for the opportunity to leave his mark, his legacy, in the annals of the wide web. He also happened to be a Sonic fan at the time. And so, armed with only his creativity, a horribly misguided ambition, and a Word document file, this young man sets off to become the king of fanfiction.net. The Sonic the Hedgehog category of fanfiction.net, to be specific, not even the entire website. This is how it all began. Any questions?
You know how hard it was to resist from just ripping that apart snarkily?
I know. I appreciate the effort you put in that.
Because that was, yeah, wow.
You're really giving that Eye of Argon a run for its money.
Yes, that was the whole point of the joke. Thank you for deconstructing it so cleverly. Well, at least nobody is feeding their families here. So anyway, yes, not yet. Good point. So basically, what is this whole intro about?
I think it's very obvious.
Yes, this is basically the story of my story. Brilliant. Of how basically I got into fanfiction, and specifically into Sonic fanfictions. And I was a college student at the time. I had just discovered fanfictions. I really discovered the internet as a whole very later on in my life. So it was like having a second adolescency. And so, in that turbulent period of time, I was inspired basically to write this gigantic literary saga.
I have seen the size of this thing. It's immense.
Well, actually, no. That's only the first part of it. Because
God!
There are 5 parts of this story.
And we're going to read.
No. We're only going to read the first one, which is about 48,000 words.
Oh, good lord!
Okay, but you need to understand this. This was a massive undertaking. I mentioned about oddly misplaced ambition. I went in and basically rewrote and reimagined the entire Sonic multiverse, including games, comics, cartoons, and even the anime. Everything.
So basically you just said, fuck canon, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yes. Basically, screw canon, I'll make my own Sonic the Hedgehog with blackjack and hookers.
Oh my god.
Oh yes.
So basically your intention was the exact opposite of my intention on my story.
Yes. But here's the thing. I know now, with my wisdom of today, that is, that what I wrote was absolutely horrible. But here's the thing.
I think you probably at least had proper grammar and punctuation in there, so you're still ahead of the curve as far as stuff like Reimu fights the bad guys of the darkness. And Immortal.
Well, Ross, you'd think so, but you have to keep in mind that back then, I've only just started writing in English.
Oh
no. Oh yes, I was struggling with the whole writing process, especially in a different language. Oh yes.
So how much you had studied English before you started writing?
Well, honestly, I studied English for a long time. I had a study vacation in Brighton. I had a personal tutor, and yet when I really started to learn English proper was, well, basically by self-teaching me through the internet.
You're showing it well by self-taughting yourself.
Self-taughting. He still hasn't been corrupted fully. He's still calling it the internet instead of the interwebs.
Well, Devar, now that you called my mistake, I won't have to edit it out. So thank you for that.
Yay, I'm doing my job.
By the way, have we introduced ourselves to the audience?
Oh yes, we haven't we? Anyway, you know me, this is Madhog the Master, and welcome to the 2-year anniversary of Dramatis Lectio. And as you might have imagined by now, we're doing something super mega special tonight. We are reading my own terrible epic Sonic the Hedgehog fanfic saga. And
well, as much of it as we can fit in like a 2-hour period of time.
Well, at least, yeah, it's going to be in multiple parts, obviously. So tonight, my victims, I mean guests, yes, guests. We have, of course, the impeccable Devar Arcvarron.
I shall never be a victim. I am always here, falling off cliffs.
The one who likes to point out when other people makes mistakes.
No, I don't. You do that.
Well, apparently I don't tonight.
Aren't they all doing that?
Anyway, and then we have Ross Faries.
I'm currently an ice fairy because there's a blizzard outside. How can I help you?
Ooh, got any ice pops?
Yes. Well, and then we have the returning hedonistic actor from the land of Finland, Scandinavia. And we also have a 5th member tonight, which has been oddly quiet and silent up until this point. We have Taylor Wyatt, aka Y-Boy, of Cartoon Corner.
Hello? I am tired.
Oh my god, he's not dead.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm just very tired and like to listen to people. Usually from across the room while I'm just staring at them.
I just can
non-blinking.
I can imagine his face just up against the microphone.
This is going to be an enlightening experience. Okay,
Indeed.
So here's a bit of a background info before we begin.
Don't you think we had enough background on you?
No, it is important to establish this. You see, there are 3 different versions of this story that exist.
Yay.
Are we going with the first version that is least refined?
Yes, we're going with that.
Nice.
For a logistic reason, because it's the only one that's publicly available. It's the original story that I posted in 2008 on fanfiction.net. The second version is actually a printed edition of the book. Yes, there is a physical copy of this novel. All 400 pages of it, with horrible artworks, illustrations in it. Made by me.
Wow.
Yay.
I was very dedicated to my own crap.
God.
Oh boy. Oh.
I have nothing to say to you.
And Ross shared a photo, which is Cyrno from Toho, basically throwing a strawberry at me.
Yep.
Blowing a strawberry, I believe the expression is. But anyway.
A raspberry.
A raspberry, strawberry, a tongue. Okay?
Throwing all the strawberries.
So, and the third last edition, which is the most refined and the most corrected and edited of all three editions, is actually saved in my hard drive. And as a bonus, that edition has titles to the chapters.
Alright.
And I'm
It's not to make me think that we should do my fanfiction in the
Yay. Titles.
It's not going to be as mind-blowingly amazing as my work, for better or for worse.
Yes, but still, I was like, how am I going to release this thing? Oh, that could be a way to do it.
Well, we could do that. After all, I have proofread your story, so I know it's going to be much better than my old work, because I...
However, here's the funny thing. I still have the original files lying around somewhere, so we can go with the original unedited work for comic sake.
We could do that.
But right now...
Right now, here's the link to my masterpiece.
I think fate might be against you on that one, because Skype is being weird with me. It's not responding to me.
Uh-oh.
It's weird. I can hear you all, but it's like it's processing, but... What did your fanfiction do to my Skype?
I'm sort of getting partially that sort of thing, like...
Can't you
like
just...
the left side of my screen is frozen completely, but the right side is moving fine.
Can't you just open the file, the link that I gave you on this chat?
No, because you see, the chat window is completely white. There's nothing.
The chat window crashed. He has to restart the program, essentially.
Oh boy. And what about
That
you
goes
guys?
well.
Well, I can open my thing, just the left side's frozen, not the right side.
This is weird. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I opened just fine.
I'm okay.
Give me a moment, see if I can...
This fiction is breaking Skype.
I hear your heartbeat to the beat of the drums. Oh, what a shame that you came here with someone.
Okay, testing.
Yeah, I'm back.
I am here.
Are you still recording, Dev?
Yes, I'm still recording. So, sorry about that. Have no idea what happened there.
Okay, do you have the story now?
Skype happened.
Yep, I have the story now.
Good.
Okay, so
Please do read the summary. We're going to have a laugh at this summary.
okay.
Christ.
Any certain voice you want me to use?
Whatever floats your boat.
All right. Tails, I'm Madhog, thy master.
Hey, that's me.
Darwin's natural selection theory states that a species evolves in order to better survive the habitat in which this very species lives in. Evolution knows no limitations.
Well,
Oh god, that's like the most pretentious thing I've ever heard.
I know. I know.
That feels nothing.
This is an incredibly pretentious story. Not only this is a very abridged version of what is Darwin's natural selection, which is honestly just the basic gist of it, in which, a species does experiences evolution depending on the environment it lives in. But, in this story, I kind of go out of my way to take a very, very, very liberal approach to natural selection. Not to mention trying to find a link between evolutionism and creationism and all that jolly old stuff. Like I said...
Oh, that sounds so much fun.
Oh, it is going to be fun, especially...
This is going to be deep.
Did you have fun writing this, Madhog?
Yes, I did. Surprisingly, I thought I was having an inspiration writing this pile here. Let's just say that, as you will soon find out, my characterization at the time left a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
Also, I did mention this was going to be a massive undertaking of basically rewriting the entire multiverse of the various media in which Sonic was a part of. A part of, yes. That includes ambience, places, locations, and characters as well.
The latest game at this time was Sonic Unleashed, right?
No Sonic Unleashed. This was before. So if you ever watched the Sonic ZAM cartoon, it's there. If you ever saw Sonic Underground, is there, but a really, really, really small mention. If you ever knew any characters from the comics, they are there. But especially if you watched the anime and played the games, oh, they're all there. They're all there.
All there?
Well, not Chris Thorndike.
You liar.
It's not. No, I swear it's not there. But Cosmo is.
No, I think he's saying you're lying because of the fact you said everyone was there.
Oh, well, in that case, I'm happy to be a liar.
Oh, goody.
Well, now, this is Tails. Well, more specifically, this is part 1 of Tails, which is titled Tails.
Creative.
Well, the second part is basically Tails plus some other character. So that's...
Was Tails your favorite character?
Yes, he was.
As he is mine, actually.
Mostly because I really hated how he was being treated by the actual canon of the story. So, as you might notice by reading on this story, this was my answer to that. I almost turned him into a freaking Mary Sue. But I did not use any original characters. I actually took pride in the fact that all the characters in this story are 100% unoriginal.
Right.
Yay.
Now, okay, so we should start this finally. Also, who's doing all that noise, all that typing in the background?
Is that Shadow?
It's not, actually.
No.
Well, I got my eyes on you. Okay, we shall take turns into reading these paragraphs. So, Devar, why don't you start up?
Alright then.
This is the prologue. You're going to love how this prologue starts off.
Alright. Chapter 1. An unspecified number of millenniums ago.
Already I misspelled millenniums. It should be millennia, the plural, but okay.
Yeah. Also, he bolded this. You bolded this.
Yes.
That is not a title.
That's actually, no, that's the time frame.
I just imagine this in Star Wars font.
Nice. But anyway, I later on went to rename this chapter Where to Begin, because there is a lot of exposition here.
Sounds like you're questioning yourself on where to begin with the book.
Subconsciously I was, because there is a lot that I basically had to establish in one chapter, and this chapter is all basically exposition. Oh boy,
all right.
So much exposition.
Exposition. Yeah, it's like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Not quite as bad.
Okay, shall I begin then?
Yes, please.
It was a sunny day in the zone who, in a distant future, will be known as Emerald Hill.
Of course.
The local animals were scavenging for food. Particularly, one creature was struggling in the attempt to grab a very rare and juicy fruit who apparently was out of reach. Who apparently was out of reach? What, the fruit is a character?
I told you this was the least refined version, didn't I?
This peculiar animal was a member of the canine species. A vulpine, a fox, for being more accurate.
This might as well be a documentary at this point.
That's why I decided to say it like in this voice.
That was a perfect choice.
In this part of the land, foxes were the dominant species, the top of the food chain. Things, however, were anything but easy for them. a recent storm happened to destroy most of the forest they used to live in. As a direct consequence of Mother Nature's latest outburst. She wished that Five Nights at Freddy's would stop releasing new games.
This was millennia ago, okay?
Okay, so I have no idea what to reference from
Don't you mean millenniums ago?
I guess Mother Nature was just having a divorce with God, so that's why it was pissed.
I thought it was Father Time she was married to.
No, she had an affair with Father Time. At some
Oh,
point.
okay.
That's why they're divorcing.
Alright.
I was making Echo the Dolphin reference if I thought anyone would get it.
I
Well,
would
you
get
can-
it partially.
Well, you can make the reference of the fact that the Hammerell Hill zone that I just referenced is the first zone from Sonic 2.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Well, somebody might not be aware of that, but this story is completely littered with references. Also, whomever is doing that noise in the background better stop.
That is a dog, and I can't stop it from moving.
Oh, it's that dog again! I have a grudge with the dog. One of these days.
No, it's not the first dog, it's a bigger dog.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Yes, it is a bigger dog.
Devar, please continue.
Alright, most of the
Because of this storm, what happened?
most of the common fox's natural preys were forced to leave the zone. The results of the tragic event are still considered by today's scientists very improbable, or as many used to say, blasphemy, which is really spelled badly.
Actually, blaspheme, which should be blasphemous, but okay.
This
Steam!
is
Blaspheme!
just give me some blasphemy.
I told you this was going to be good.
The vulpine are carnivore animal species by nature's choice.
Yes, that nature is kind of a slut like that sometimes.
Yeah, because there's no vegetables. That's not a choice anymore. Instead of leaving for a better place, changed its alimentary habits.
That's a real word, Devar. Get it right.
Uh-huh. You're speaking to someone who has speech and language problems, who've never seen certain words.
I'm also speaking to a guy who wants to be a writer, so... Yeah.
Meow.
Touché. Changed its alimentary habits and became omnivore.
Just like that. That's how natural selection
Became
works.
omnivore one day.
Yeah.
One day.
The fundamental way my digestive system works.
Yes.
Seasonal.
And that actually is more closer to Lamar's evolution theory, where the species try actively to adapt into the...
I was going to make Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy joke in which the main character one day wakes up and decides he's crazy. But, okay, thank you for the scientific fact. Llamas, which are not a creature in this story.
That was the
Why
very...
not?
We clearly did fanfiction quite enough.
That was the very first step for a whole new race to arise. And they shall destroy all the other races and become the master race. Okay, that's not what happens.
I thought that was the echidnas in Sonic lore.
Did I mention that I changed completely the basics and the canons? Everything was rewritten?
Yes.
Yes, so you said.
Yes.
Right.
So I said.
You literally went from the ground up.
Yes! That's why all the exposition, because I was not a good enough writer to actually avoid all this exposition dump to explain a whole new universe from the ground up.
Right then. And another giant step was about to take place in this very sunny day. Because apparently it's a place, sunny day. I think what you meant to say was on this very sunny day, not in.
Yes, I probably meant to say that.
In the
Thank you.
sun. Just in the sun.
Yes, just it's a sunny day inside the sun.
Oh my
With
god,
sun.
the monsters are so powerful they can survive the heat of the sun.
They might as well, the way I wrote him to be.
We're going
Yeah,
to
they're
be
all
going to
gods,
the
apparently.
bongo in the sun.
So come on.
Okay,
go on, Devar.
the fruit this particular canine wanted so bad to eat was definitely out of range.
Definitely.
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 It's a new type of television.
You know, if we're going to stop and point out every single spelling mistake, we're going to be here all night.
Yes. I'm trying my best not to here. Out of range for a common fox to pick. This animal, however, was not your common small-sized quadruped fox. It was bigger, stronger, and even more intelligent.
Faster! more intelligent than it was before.
It was
More
also...
loud.
It's the $1 million fox.
I was thinking about that. Anyway.
$6 million fox,
The
actually.
6 million. No, this one has a cheaper budget.
Yeah, minus $5. It was also the only one of its kind at the moment. As a matter of fact, the other normal foxes...
Yeah, there is a period, and then there is a new phrase. That's...
The other normal foxes had rejected it.
Oh, yeah.
They feared it and isolated it, not wanting to be anywhere near this horrible freak of nature. This freak was sick and tired. The juicy fruit he tried to grab was still out of its reach.
Oh, and by the way, I should point out, I later learned that it's when it's referred to a possession, should not have an apostrophe in between the it and the s. It should be one whole word, it's.
It's a common mistake, so we'll move
Yeah.
along.
Everybody makes them, even professional writers
Yes.
that are paid to write make this mistake.
And that's when an idea came to its primitive mind. It knew it was born different from the other vulpines.
You know, just like he knew one day he woke up to be omnivore.
Not only was it bigger, but its arms were also different. The legs had a whole new articulation system. And knees.
Knees!
Knees.
Suddenly he rubs...
Please, my god.
Suddenly he rubs them and they shine. Ding!
Okay. So basically, in this prologue, I'm introducing all of my leitmotifs of this sort.
Light.
As you can imagine.
Why?
Evolution, diversity, racism, and also overcoming the odds. That's.
And he calls that light motif.
I said leitmotifs.
Yeah, light motifs
It's
with a heavy
These
hand.
are pretty heavy.
With a very heavy hand.
Yes, the end is so heavy, it's going to slap you hard in the face if you don't continue immediately.
With a lot of efforts, the new fox...
A lot of efforts!
Not just one, but a lot of them.
The new fox was able to stand on his very knees.
Knees!
Knees! In a bipedal and...
Knees and not his actual feet, so that's kind of weird.
In a
Yes, knees for feet, and feet for knees.
in a bipedal and surprisingly stable position. And now its sacred growl was finally at its height.
By the way, this is supposed to be all a reference to the very first Australopithecus, and at large a reference to basically the human evolution.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that was supposed to be the parallel here. I don't know if it's obvious enough, but
yeah. The creature
Sledgehammer obvious.
The creature put its arms forward in the motion of actually grab its very dessert meal, only to notice something it didn't notice before.
What's that?
Its paw had a new appendage.
You don't mean
A thumb!
a thumb?
For the sake of clarity, and with this new finger,
Fingers!
the animal was actually capable of holding the fruit in its own 5-fingered hand,
I say a lot of its and its own in this paragraph.
even though
Apparently.
it's 4
And
fingers
he
and
was
a
also
thumb.
the very first 5-fingered discount.
Careful, Ross, it might become the one-fingered up yours in a minute.
That's the one-fingered salute, sir.
So Sonic characters have 5 fingers instead of 4.
Oh, yes, they always had 5 fingers, actually.
Okay.
That's,
I don't know about that, but okay, let's continue.
Satisfied by this new discovery, the not-so-feral fox ate its lunch, and then he walked away on its 2 feet.
in brackets. Okay.
And
So this basically this whole little paragraph is basically he grabbed a piece of fruit and then walked away.
Exactly. It's supposed to be the introduction, both the actual introduction and the thematic introduction to the entire story. That's going to have a very, very, very specific payoff.
And that was pretty much it. The inexplicable scientific miracle of life.
It's
Nature.
like the inexplicable scientific miracle of life. Sounds like a song by Insane Clown Posse.
Nature and evolution at its best. A whole new race has rose. The first ever anthropomorphic fox.
You said it right. Unbelievable.
Yay.
The first kitsune, and this was just the beginning.
Yes.
Let's do Mr. Madhog. So, if this horrible freak of nature was shunned by all of his brethren, then how could he possibly have reproduced to create more kitsunes?
That's a good question, Ross. Several millenniums later.
Am I going still on?
Okay, actually, let's change. Let's change. Say, Taylor, do you feel
Yes?
up to the challenge?
Sure.
I think he means, are you awake up for the challenge?
Yes, I am.
So why don't you
I'm
read
just,
the?
I'm just thinking of what voice I should use. Yeah, I'll
yes,
just
Is
go with
the
classic one I
best
got.
ever happening in this?
The first paragraph was basically a prologue. Now, and there is almost nothing happening. Now, in this second paragraph, everything happens all at once.
Okay, then let's do this. Several millenniums later, fire, explosions, death. That was all that was left of Emerald Town, a once quiet city in the center of the Emerald Hill Zone, now reduced into dust and burnt corpses. It was quite a nice place, though. You could always go by the beach and see all the blood there.
Directed by
And the rent went way down after that.
By the way, directed by Michael Bay.
And J.J. Abrams.
Well, J.J. Abrams will mostly be the expert on the lighting department. You know, all the flashing lights that blinds you.
Okay.
And the completely uninspired direction that's mediocre.
Although if
at
this
best.
was directed by Michael Bay, we wouldn't see burnt corpses because it will be PG-13.
Well, you did see that guy frozen to death in the 4th Transformers film.
I have not
Oh
seen.
my god, you actually watched all 4 Transformers films.
Yes, I have. They are quite hilarious if you are able to completely switch off your brain and regurgitate vomit.
Speaking of switching off brains.
Anyway, so Taylor,
Yeah,
tell
I
us.
shall continue then.
Yes,
Yes.
tell us of whom these burned corpses were.
They were kitsunes, not a bunch of kitsunes, just more. They were kitsunes.
Yes.
Someone named it, apparently.
Well, here's the problem. Kitsune, being a Japanese word, does not have an S at the end of it when you mean the plural of it. Here's my dilemma.
So
I don't
why
think
didn't
that
you
is
use
still
the
correct.
Japanese word for
Anthropomorphic foxes.
You didn't use
Foxes.
Japanese like it wasn't suited for it.
One thing you will notice about this story is that I actually go out of my way to use as many synonyms as possible to basically call a fox. A cab, a fox, a pup, a kitsune, you know, because I was acutely aware about repetition at the time, or at least about some repetition.
Right then, can we continue?
He likes the
please.
thesaurus.
Someone, however, was able to escape the hell and took cover inside an ancient, undiscovered cave.
That they discovered, so it's not undiscovered.
Yeah, so it's not really undiscovered cave anymore. In
Words
this
have meaning.
improvised refuge, Amadeus and Rosemary Prower,
Amadeus.
a young Amadeus.
Amadeus.
Amadeus, Oh, Amadeus.
Amadeus.
A young married Katsune couple stood in silence and fear, hoping not to be found, hoping to survive that fatal day among all, hoping that the precious cargo could live through all of this. Their piano. They really love this piano.
By the way, by the way, I should point out...
Boy, the labor of giving birth to that piano must have been really bad.
No, they're giving birth to a sheep, obviously. By the way, I should point out, Amadeus and Rosemary Prower are actually Tails' parents in the canon of the comics.
I knew that much, at least.
Did you know that, Ross?
Which comic? The Archie one or the Sonic the comic? Because there's two different comic continuities.
I actually don't know. I just know they were in the comics. So I...
Okay, that's helpful.
I mean, if you referred... No, I think it was Archie Comics. I believe the other comic you're referencing is actually the British one.
Yeah, Fleetway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not
I actually owned them.
Good for you. We should read them.
Well,
sometime.
I can't because they've been binned years ago.
Fantastic. So, Taylor, please continue.
Of course. Rosemary Prower was indeed pregnant and quite endowed and very close to give birth of her and her husband's child. Her belly was like a time-ticking bomb.
A time-ticking bomb.
It's a loose cannon! It's about to explode!
It's gonna jump out.
A ticking time bomb.
Yes, careful! Brian Pillman has a gun!
We're going to defuse it.
Luckily, before leaving their home, Amadeus brought all the necessary things, including the piano, needed for the fortunate/unfortunate event.
How is this?
Wait a minute, if they're supposed to be anthropomorphic foxes, do they still have claws? Because then you technically don't need to bring anything with you for that.
Well, you know, they have gloved ends, so I don't know if they're claws or not.
Also,
probably not. Yeah.
Also, how would they have time to bring all the necessary things if they're in an unfortunate scenario?
That's a very big... That's the bar.
A fortunate/unfortunate event.
Maybe he just needed biceps and a knife.
The bar. That is a very, 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 very astute question.
Which you're not going to answer.
Please continue.
In that stormy night, a night
Snoopy was writing this story. It was a dark and stormy night.
A night that seemed fulfilled by hopelessness and misery. A cry could be heard, a childish cry, a baby cry,
That was
an
me.
annoying cry. Once again, life and will to survive have prevailed despite the condition in which they would have to prove themselves.
Thematic parallel.
The world was not a safe place anymore. Through the courses of ages, humans and anthropomorphic animals, but are known as Mobians or Anthros.
In brackets.
Okay, I have to explain this because Mobians come from the planet Mobius, which in the context of this story does not make much sense since it's actually planet Earth. But actually, I actually came out with the idea of calling the side of the planet in which the anthropomorphic animals are inhabiting Mobius. Because why not?
Mm-hmm.
And also,
okay, so I guess for those that aren't familiar with the Sonic canon, I probably should kind of explain this briefly. Okay, so in the Japanese original games, every single thing took place on Earth. Mm-hmm. In fact, there was a specific island in the Pacific Ocean called South Island that basically all of the Genesis and era Sonic games took place on. When they brought it over to English, they decided that that wouldn't make sense to have anthropomorphic animals running around Earth, so we're just going to say it's an alien planet. Hence the name Mobius. That's where it came from.
Yes, which was then adopted in the 2 animated series made in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But so in the context of the story, I just decided to go into a middle ground, a compromise, if you will. And I decided that there is the portion of the planet that's inhabited by the animals is called Mobius.
Anyway, just to finish this, basically the whole Mobius idea completely goes away once you get to Sonic Adventure, which basically disregards pretty much all of the English canon before it.
Yes. So,
also, you could have said that you merged the two.
Yes. So would you like to know where the word anthros come from?
Anthropomorphic.
It's a well-known slang for anthropomorphic animals.
Yeah, it's a well-known slang that was actually used pretty often in Sonic fanfictions to call the anthropomorphic animals like that. So that's why I decided, I adopted everything I could adopt into the story, basically.
Okay, let's continue from here.
Yes.
Okay, so the anthropomorphic animals and humans have managed to live side by side, but of course things weren't as easy as they looked. They never were.
Oh,
No,
commentary!
never be too easy.
Commentary!
Oh no, Sega. Through the ages, humans and Mobians have fought many battles for supremacy, for the desire of being the dominant race.
And then, then the humans won, and the monsters were forced to live underground, up until a young boy fell into the hole.
Oh god.
Undertale.
Of course we'll go Undertale with this. I was actually thinking Lunar had something similar that happened to his lore, so I was going to pull out the Lunar reference, but again, no one would get that.
I get it.
Please continue.
No, stop interrupting me. I'm trying to get through my feel of my character as narrator.
Yes!
No, Paul Bear.
Until a truce. That until a truce was somehow reached and the world was equally divided between the two races. But sapient beings, but as we know, are not bound for peace. Ooh. Ooh, are we getting environmental in here?
No hope for humanity at
It's
all.
the most danger of the man. It's the most dangerous animal. Man.
Yes, I am very, very much unflattering about humanity in this story, I have to say.
So you were a James Cameron
Sonic the
fan.
Hedgehog fandom is kind of unflattering about humanity, really. I mean, just think about it. The bad guy is always a fat, evil scientist, and the good guys are always anthropomorphic animals trying to stop/kill him.
Yes, but considering I established some sort of middle ground between the two races and a common enemy for both, the fact that we completely lack a human side to this story is, well, lacking.
Yeah. Let's continue.
Yeah. They are driven by the irrational will to fight. Whom is different or ever whom is similar just for the heck of it.
Whom a lot.
Yes, whom. It makes you sound smart when you use that.
Not really.
Well, dumb people think so.
Well, I'm glad I'm not dumb. At least not anymore.
Well, back then you seem to have been.
Yes, well, from fanfiction.net standards, I was Albert Einstein.
Oh, I see how it is.
Actually, no, Ernest Hemingway.
Yes.
Anyway, please continue.
Mobians were not different as they received from humans a thing that have been typical of them. Racism.
Oh no!
Oh, yes! This is the influence of the British Empire on underdeveloped nations in Asia and Africa all over again.
Hey, we've run out of hatred for black people. Who should we hate next? I know, the Anthros!
Yeah.
The echidnas must be hated. Those dreadlocked bastards.
Well,
And those guys have 4 penises on them.
I'm glad you
What's
didn't
up
say
with that?
that. Well, Ross, I'm glad you did not say
They
red.
must die.
Well, Ross,
We will
Ross,
kill all of the ants so they have nothing to eat.
Ross, I'm actually happy. I'm actually glad you did not say red-skinned bastards.
Well, it would be also true.
Oh, well, it's red furred, technically.
Anyway, so the humans, being humans, have transmitted racism, the very concept of racism, to the Mobians, just like the white man had transmitted the concept of racism and Italianism to the African populace in the 19th and 20th century.
You know, this is probably the most boring fan fiction I have ever read.
Yes.
Nothing but fucking thieves. We're not
Okay,
even
honest,
on the second page
I
yet.
told you this was all exposition, the first chapter. It gets better, much more action-packed.
I think you've lost just about anyone that would sit down to try to read this. They're like, oh my god, seriously?
Surprisingly not. Please continue.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Mobian races like echidna or hedgehogs fought each other through the centuries for whatever reasons. The absence of a common enemy was the key of the separation between cultures. That, of course, until a couple years ago, a new enemy has risen. A human, or as many Mobians used to call him, an overlander.
Yes.
Wow, like
Oh,
really
crisis.
stretching in the Sonic lore on that one.
Yes, I know, right?
Yeah, you remember all those kinds of
Wow,
Sonic,
okay.
just called Eggman the Overlander?
Are you
No, that's
impre-
a reference to the Sonic the Hedgehog anime movie.
Are you actually impressed with my level of knowledge of the Sonic multiverse?
No.
I mean, that was stretching on that one. I had to kind of give you props. I knew you'd seen that movie. You commented upon the one character I nominated for like top 10 list like a long time ago.
Nobody knew the origins of this new menace, not even his people. He had no background or family members whatsoever. He simply came from nowhere, attacking a small village in the Green Hill Zone with an army of animalistic robots, making his presence known. That's kind of a bullshit background story for him.
Hey,
No.
basically, the Joker came out of nowhere as well in The Dark Knight, so there you go.
Okay. The rotund evil scientist called himself Dr. Eggman.
You know,
Yes.
I'm kind of surprised you dropped the ball in this one because there's many sources that give Eggman more backstory than this.
Well, here's the thing. I actually decided to do this on purpose because at first it seems that Eggman is this really menacing threat, but then I depict him as more of a comic book villain, and I give way to a much more interesting, I believe, at least antagonist. Let's just say Eggman is one of the main villains for now.
It's going to be Mephiles, isn't it?
No.
I don't know what you're talking about. There was never a Mephiles.
Mephiles. It's from the.
Mephiles.
It's from the Mephiles.
There was no there was no character named that. There was no human princess. There was no Super Hedgehog. They never came to be.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, Ross.
Oh yeah, it was retconned in the very same game.
Yes, exactly. They actually went back in time to erase the very continuity and story of the game itself. And at the end of said game, so yes.
Yeah,
It
so
never
no
happened.
princesses kissing hedgehogs here.
But like I said, this is a complete rewriting, so I'm going to tell you this. There is going to be a Mephiles in the story,
Oh, goody.
but he's not the antagonist I was talking about. So,
Okay.
Okay.
so that
Over the
fact-
last couple of years.
Over the last
Over
couple
the last years, the combined forces of GUN, Guardian of the United Nations, the military organization of the human country, and some other Mobian armies have barely been able to contain the advance of the so-called Eggman Empire, but its robots, its badkids, seem to be
Badniks.
quite powerful. Badniks. I haven't played many Sonic games, so I don't know these pronunciations that well. Especially the pronunciation of pronunciation. And sooner or later they would overcome. While the humans relied their strength more on technology and weapons, the Mobian's true strength was in their fighting skills. Which failed in comparison to guns.
Actually, I kind of give them the ability to be strong enough to take down robots. So,
Which makes sense.
which makes sense. Again, they have to level up the battlefield.
Yeah. Yeah, if you didn't, they kind of would be dead.
Yes.
All of them.
Okay.
In a
Anyway.
big pile, burning.
Yes,
Dead.
fighting skills, go on.
Fighting
gift.
skills. A gift from their feral ancestors, many scientists opposed, and the result of centuries of evolution and training. There's evolution again, but even with that physical advantage over the humans, they were not capable of standing against this new and ferocious metallic army and its sadistic and megalomaniac commander. So I was right. The natural habitat have been compromised. Nature had to find its way once again.
You see, nature always finds a way.
A five-fingered way.
That sounded kind of gross.
That's supposed to be the point.
Okay.
And now it gets even grosser. A young kitsune couple hidden in the cave. Despite everything, we're happy. Their baby, a male fox, was sane and quiet in his mother's arms.
Yes, he was totally sane!
It's baby.
yes, imagine an insane baby.
Insane newborns.
The baby is born and is crying. It is the most sanest creature on the planet.
Apparently you can be born insane. I meant to say healthy.
Well, I don't think that's how you spell it.
No, it's not.
And this baby's name came to be Kal-El.
Oh boy.
Although something was worrying the new parents. Something about their child. About his tail, for being precise. The fact that he had more than one.
Oh!
Another freak of nature.
Kill it!
Me and Ross found hate.
Okay, please continue.
The newborn kid was the very first tailed kitsune in history. For that reason, his life was bound not to be easy. A cruel and inhospitable world was awaiting for him, but his loving parents swore that they would never abandon him, no matter the difficulties. Never, ever.
And then they abandoned him.
Nope,
Yeah.
they will live long, healthy lives, and nothing bad will happen
No, Ross,
to them.
you mean they'll live long, sane lives.
Ross,
Sorry.
Ross, Devar, you'll be surprised by this, but they actually do live long lives.
What? Okay.
Alright.
Oh God, you monster! Why would you do that?
Live in a world like this. You monster.
Like, come on, you're almost at the end of your own paragraph.
A thunder exploded in the distance, scaring the kid in an unimaginable way.
I could imagine it.
I can't.
Yeah, an explosion happening far away. That would scare anybody.
Death! Fire! Explosion!
The instinctual reaction that followed his sudden fear was something that neither one of his parents was expecting.
Yes.
He cried.
No, wait, give it
No
time.
one could expect that. The little fox cub, born for only a few minutes, rose in air. His two tails were spinning like a helicopter, allowing him to actually fly.
Wow,
Which
that was
doesn't
fast.
Which doesn't make
I've
sense.
never understood the physics of
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
That would be incredibly painful.
It's chaos power. Let's go with that.
It's the same thing with Raymond's hair.
So, okay, we established that he has the ability to fly.
Straight
with his
away.
tails.
He can move.
Yes, straight away.
Before
Yes,
he
very
could
good.
walk,
Yes,
before he could poop,
yes,
he could fly.
that's the whole point. Yes.
After a while, the cub got tired and slowly descended once again in his mother's arms, and his parents were just thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, that's a great way of introducing that gameplay mechanic. Mechanic, not mechanic.
The miracle happened again. In that very stormy, merciless night, a new hope was born.
A Star Wars episode.
He flew in the air for like 5 seconds. Calm down.
Well, it's the first flying fox. So yeah,
Okay,
What will that even do, really?
you'll see. You'll see.
let's finish
You'll
this.
just fly higher than the robots.
Actually,
They'll
no.
be able to shoot.
Actually, you'll see what he can do. I actually went out of my way to incorporate his abilities into actual fighting skills.
Oh, you did what I would do usually.
Yes, I did what
Anyone
everyone.
else do.
Exactly, I did what everyone would do,
Okay,
except Sega. But anyway,
A naturally gifted warrior in response to the hostility of his habitat. Yes, the ability to fly.
well, Chosen One narrative much?
Yeah.
yeah.
At least
Actually,
You know,
no.
honestly, I'm a little
doesn't have
disappointed in you.
skills at flying.
I thought
Actually-
you pulled from actual Kitsune lore at this point, gave him magical powers because he had multiple tails.
It's chaos
Actually,
energy.
Actually, Ross, you know, the whole thing about the Chosen One and Destiny, it's more like play of expectations.
Prophecies.
Yeah.
Well,
Everyone-
there are actually no prophecies at all in the story.
Yeah, I know,
To
but
my
I'm saying an example.
Yes.
To my credit, I avoided prophecies in this story. To my little credit.
Anyway.
Yes, but you keep saying a naturally gifted warrior.
I am hammering a bit the theme that I established. I'm guilty of that.
Okay, you have one more line. You can do this. Why, boy?
Okay, I can do it. And he would not be the only one.
That was difficult.
Oh!
Yes,
Oh my
very
god!
difficult.
That took it out of me, you know?
8 years later. So, Ross.
Oh god.
Okay, you really want this? Okay. Fear was the key word for this unfortunate girl who happened to be in the proverbial wrong place at the proverbial wrong time. Well, at the actual wrong place at the actual wrong time, because that still works.
Don't you sound so smart here. Using big fancy words.
Yes, so 8 years have passed since the exposition dump, so now some action happens.
Okay.
A new kind of robot. A robot.
Robot!
Ross, get the word right.
Okay, a new kind of robot, different from the old animal-based badniks, was dangerously approaching her.
Can you guess what kind of robot is that, Ross?
Its red visor was scanning the little frightened kid, and its mechanical AI was deciding the right way to proceed. All of a sudden, the anthropomorphic.
Why are you using that word so often? It's a robot.
Because it's a great word. Yeah. Also because I established that the previous models were animal-based, so this one is the first human-based.
Okay.
I still don't think that works, but anyway.
We have the first line of dialogue here. Who wants to be the robot?
Beep. Subject, Moby and Rabbit. Priority 1. Bring the Dr. Eggman. Kill if resists. So, Ross, you should have figured out at this point, the robot in question is a
SWAT bot.
Yes, it's a SWAT bot from Sonic ZAM. Aren't I just the best Sonic fan?
Thumbs up.
So
The
are these
6
all
years old bunny was about to cry her eyes out for fear. Cries her eyes out for fear.
Fear!
All of these characters are like,
Fear! I cry
She
for
wants
you!
fear so bad that she has to cry.
Oh boy.
But instead, she found out that her voice, along with the rest of her trembling body, was basically frozen.
Let it go.
Frozen
Let it
in
go.
today!
Yes, she was frozen today. For
She
fear!
had rumors, voices of horrible experiments and tortures that the Mad Doctor did to his victims.
I have a lot of ellipses here, in case you didn't notice.
Yes.
Voices of innocent creatures transformed into the Badnik's main source of energy. And she didn't want to be one of them.
It's so uncool. I don't want to be that. That's so uncool. No. All the cool kids
They'll touch me
do not become badniks.
They'll touch me in uncomfortable places. That's not cool.
Okay, and remember, kids, if a stranger wants to hug you, that's no good. Or
Pretty much. Then again, there wasn't anything that she could do by herself against this metallic monster. Oh, she left her chow at home.
I actually don't remember if I have a chow in this story.
Okay.
I guess we'll see.
Because isn't this supposed to be cream?
Yes.
It is Cream.
So, yeah.
So the first character I introduce in this story, besides
It's
Tails'
Cream.
parents, is freaking... She's not going to be a prominent character in this story, I promise.
Just like every other Sega.
Cream was always this character that just completely destroyed my sense of credibleness in this
Credibility.
franchise. Because she was like, she was 6.
And
she was
could
like
fly.
the most broken character in every game that she appeared in
Well,
because she could
Tails-
launch a ranged attack.
Well, Tails was 8, so... And then Sonic is 15, so what's your point?
My point is she has a mother that is still alive and completely okay with this.
That's a good point, actually. Anyway, please continue.
As if on cue, something happened to the rope. Or, for better choice of words, someone happened.
Someone!
I love how you say, as if on cue, like as if it's some sort of cabaret play.
Well, it is literally on cue because I decided it's...
So now all the SWAT bots in my mind are made of cardboard. The background is designed by a 6-year-old, and Tails is gonna come in on a cardboard horse, going, "I shall help save you, dear princess."
Ha-ha! I, the great Tails.
How about this?
Please stop. Before the enhanced metal soldier could do anything, his head was severed from the rest of the body by a sudden aerial roundhouse kick that came out of nowhere.
Yes, sudden aerial roundhouse kick. I know my
What came
terminology.
out of nowhere?
Question, Madhog. Did you
Yes.
take some inspiration for fighting style from Sonic Battle?
No, from wrestling.
Oh, okay. It's just that
On
fighting game
accident.
existed.
The corpse fall into the grass, and the SWAT bot was no more.
Also, also
I
there's
don't think a robot can be a corpse, sir.
also
Unless this was a biomechanical.
also the
It's not.
there's a mistake here, as in the way, narratively speaking, as in the characters have not specified what this robot is, so you couldn't really call it a SWAT bot in the narrative.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you actually didn't give it a detailed description, honestly.
You just
I
explained
did.
it to us.
I did. It was an anthropomorphic robot with a red visor, and then the narrator explain it's a SWAT bot, so I don't see the problem with that.
What I mean is the characters need to say the name of it.
Not necessarily. This is
Yes,
not
they
a
do.
This is a novel, not a film.
They still need to say it.
Okay, let's carry
Young
on.
Rabbit Girl looked up to face her savior.
Oh my gosh! Is it you, Furry Jesus?
She was mouth agape and almost speechless when she found out that her hero was a kid just like her, maybe a couple years older.
She can tell that.
The only difference was that he was one of a different race, a fox. But the fact that really shocked her was that he had 2 tails.
No, 2 tails.
I'm going to say that Tails probably cannot roundhouse kick a SWAT bot's head off, but it's your story.
Yes, it is. And
Also-
he should be able to do that.
Also, I'm gonna call Tails Kenshiro.
It should be Tails Shiro.
Say
Anyway, 2
Katana Tails Shiro.
Anyways, I should point out I wrote 2 tails in cap locks, and they are followed by 3 exclamation points because
Gotta
you know.
stress that racism.
Tails!
yes,
Yes,
2
we just
tails.
learned that.
Okay, the Kitsune looked the
Kitsune.
bunny in the eyes and smiled. He had big blue caring eyes that
And then-
cried tears of blood.
And then he ate her.
Well, I know some person will be happy.
It makes sense on an evolution sort of standpoint.
Okay, carry on, Roz.
She was still a little taken aback. She heard the stories that other kids, older and meaner than her, told her. The stories about rabbits having the natural praise of foxes, being the natural praise of foxes. In a certain way, it was true. The feral ancestors of the 2 Mobian races used to have it that way.
It was a weird arrangement they used to have. You know, you're a predator, I'm the prey, you eat me, I run. That's the arrangement that we have.
You're the Tasmanian devil, I'm the rabbit.
This,
Okay.
however, concerned only them, because even being a rabbit or a fox, these 2 young child
Oh god, this is embarrassing.
Two childs.
This is embarrassing. This is absolutely embarrassing.
There's two young childs.
Child were still Mobians, a whole species of sapient beings, despite the differences. So different base species combined into one.
Captain Planet?
It's okay.
So great.
It's as if to say I might be white, you might be black or Asian, but at the end of the day, we're all humans. You know.
Well, yeah, that's great, but these aren't even the same.
Well, actually, you see, they're anthropomorphic animals, and they historically have fought against the human invaders, so that eventually banded them together into one whole nation, which is Mobius. So, in a way, they are one whole species.
No, they are not by any type of scientific sense.
Well, this is a Sonic fanfiction. What part of that is not clear to you?
Please, you
This
two,
is a
stop.
game with an actual scientist as the enemy. I'm going to call science on this.
Please, you two, stop arguing. Think of Marty and Taylor. Think of the children.
No, think of the
Think
child.
of the childs.
Okay, let's carry on, please.
Basically, in human terms, they shared the same difference that an American and a Canadian had.
God,
The
why-
funniest line in this.
Oh God!
Why
God!
is that
I
even an
wrote that.
important point to mention?
Oh
Why
my
is that
God!
important?
Okay,
Oh my God! I wrote that. Oh no!
you have an American and a Canadian here, I think.
Yeah.
And the
Very
thing,
good.
you don't have a Canadian here to defend themselves.
Actually,
Yeah, whatever. I'm the only
I
Canadian.
need to get
Well,
Tom Way on the line to have him read this shit.
actually, Taylor is Canadian.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, never mind. By all means, go ahead.
So Taylor, tell us about your fur and your two tails.
Well, I shaved them all off and cut my tails off. And that was
I don't
it.
know what you're talking about. I'm not a rabbit. I'm a fairy.
Well, same
Completely
difference.
different thing.
You're a rabbit fairy, Ross.
I know one difference between Americans and Canadians is Canadians says about instead of about.
That's the big difference you just point out.
Is that
Anyway.
true?
Please continue.
The Fox Kid kneeled himself to the rodent girl's
Kneeled himself.
Kneel before Fox.
Oh god, who's going to be Tails?
I don't know who wants to be Tail. I'm going to be Cream. Who wants to be Tail?
Oh god, you're
Don't
gonna
worry,
scream.
I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yes,
You're
Fox.
safe now.
Okay, so Scandinavian Tails is on the case.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so could you repeat that line, please?
That had the desired effect on her. She started crying, finally releasing her distress and hugged the boy tightly. And if this was any other Sonic fan fiction, then there would be about 2 chapters of porn.
It isn't. It isn't. Thank God.
Thank goodness.
I thought I was gonna be a badnik.
So, she's Paul Bear. Okay, got it.
Basically.
She sobbed.
Oh, save me.
It's okay. It's all over now. My name's Mas Brewer, but you can call me Tails. What's
Oh
your-
God.
Oh gosh,
Tails
Tails
is scary.
drunk!
Tails is very scary.
Tails
I
has
gave
balls
it a
dropped.
child voice from now on.
Not wanting to be impolite, the girl released him from her hug and answered,
I'm Cream. Thank you for saving me, Mr. Prower.
I'm seeing
God, that's
some...
even a really creepy last name if you think about it.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
How is Prower creepy?
It seemed because it's like
Prowler.
Prowler.
Oh,
without-
Prowler. Even though
Yes.
it's supposed to be miles per hour.
Yes, I know the pun.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
What, you
Wow.
didn't know?
He just learned something today.
Mr. Prower? See, I get that I seem mature for my age, but that makes me feel old. Just call me Tails, will you?
Okay, Mr. Tails.
Well, that's an improvement. What were you doing out in the forest all alone? Don't you know it's extremely dangerous?
Apparently not. We Well, I was trying to catch my chow. Oh, there you go. There you go. She has the chow pet.
She has cheese.
Cheese! And I found myself alone in the forest of doom.
Where are you from?
Station Square! Yes, there is a Station Square, just like the anime.
Uh-huh.
I know that place. I will accompany you to it, okay?
Okay, thanks again, Tails.
So she lost cheese. Was she throwing it at Badniks?
Actually, it is later established that she likes to sneak out of the city to basically pick up flowers because stereotypes.
Cream and cheese.
Fun.
I have a feeling this franchise doesn't have much of self-irony.
No.
Nope.
The young, courageous Kit took the rabbit in his arms, really?
Yes.
Like his
This is getting weird.
and grows in the air.
Names.
Was utterly stunned for the thing.
She was in a shoujo manga.
She was.
Oh my god, did I really write this? Oh, jeez.
You wrote it like if it was a shoujo manga script.
This is the first version to my defense, but yeah. So anyway,
You might as well just say Cream was utterly stunned for the D.
you can fly?
Yep, it's a birth gift. It really comes in handy sometimes, especially when you have to deal with mean robots. Hold on now, this will be quite a ride.
It will be your last ride. Oh no!
When he gained enough height, he started fly relatively fast in the direction of the city. Cream was enjoying the tour.
Okay, to your right is to your right is Danger Island. And if you look to your left, you'll see a lovely volcano. What? I don't see anything. Booga booga booga.
Okay, there is another bit of an exposition dump here, so Ross, I shall relieve you from your reading duties because
I got this.
because I love you. Oh, do you want to?
I got it.
Okay, suit yourself.
He's got your back, man.
I got this. Station Square was the biggest city in the country and, idealistically, was the great melting pot of the planet.
Of the planet.
Of this planet.
Humans and Mobians of every race used to live side by side in this big city. The fact of having to deal with a common enemy reinforced their relations. Oh my. And the city grew strong. Of course, there were still problems. There will always be problems. It's just the way things are.
That's very vague.
Damn it, those hedgehogs are just sleeping around on the road.
You know, I actually regret that I never go into major detail to describe the
What the problems are.
to describe the day-to-day life in the city, because it's basically the only place on Earth in which Anthros and humans live together. Which would make for an interesting story in its own right, but I don't got time for that.
Gotta make Tails look cool.
We have to make Tails into a Mary Sue.
Actually,
Gary Stu.
no, Gary Stu is for perfect boyfriend. So
Still kind of works.
no, Cream is.
You look at how you wrote him so far.
Well, okay, I know, but trust me on this. I'm going to make everyone's life in this story as miserable as I possibly can.
You're doing a bad job of it.
Sonic.
So this is a dark fic?
Well, let's just say that at some point I end up writing very, very uncomfortable things. In many ways.
You didn't play the rape card, did you?
Let's just continue.
No!
Oh, wow, no.
Okay, so
However, this did not concern this story. I bring it up.
That's a dickish thing for me to say.
however, this
The
does not
Volpine
concern you.
escorted the rabbit to her home. She also managed to find her chow in the way.
Because he's perfect at everything.
He's in the way of the
It
story.
was completely in his way. He had to actually avoid the chow to get her home. And after the thankful tears of joy of her mother, who was literally the absolute worst mother in Sonic canon ever.
Yep. It's also the only mother.
And the cutest.
Politely refusing a dinner invite, the Kitsune left the city and headed to his operational base.
And now there is another exposition dump. You will love this,
And
Ross.
now it's Batman.
Oh god, here we go. Okay, Miles, Tails Prowler, in his early 8 years of life, had become a really important person.
Yeah, I know. It gets better eventually. Or worse.
For the first 4 years, he was just a kid who was teased and beaten by others because of his physical difference.
Because, yeah, that's actually in the canon itself, come to think of it.
Yeah.
It kinda is, but then...
Or
things
Dan.
changed when he saved an entire family of Mobian squirrels from a small army of badniks all by himself.
Yep, that just happened. And you will never guess. You will never guess who those squirrels were.
Oh, I know.
Oh, I know, but I'm not gonna say it.
I don't know.
Chaos
Yeah.
wanted this What? Chaos wanted that
Chaos
this
is...
was
Okay,
none other than the former royal Acorn
Acorn.
family.
so basically...
Chaos wanted... What the fuck did you write, man?
I did not establish that basically chaos in this world is perceived much like God, or at least like an innominable, unperceived entity that governs all nature and how the universe function.
Oh yeah, Chaos was the final boss from Sonic Adventure, right?
It's not that chaos. It's a much more abstract concept here.
So in other words, you basically make
But
chaos
then you
into
probably
fate.
should have named it after a character that already exists in Sonic.
Maybe you should explain it first.
I do
Like Chaos Zero just standing there while these guys being attacked. And like, Tails, you can save him.
I did not want to say fate because actually I go out of my way in this story to say that fate is complete idiocy and it's all chaos and unpredictability. But yes.
Then you probably should have written in such a way it wasn't capitalized.
Well, he did full
Well,
stop before.
I have to. There is a full stop to the previous sentence.
But then you should have rewritten the lines. So
I should have done a lot of things in my life, Ross. But here we are.
Anyway, sorry, that was just incomprehensible after I read it. So Maximilian and his daughter Sally.
Oh jeez, I did not see her coming.
After the city-state was took by Eggman's pawns and transformed into the Doctor's own headquarters.
Not voiced by
and
Jim Killings. Jim
The
Killings.
two were the only survivors of the royal heritage, and they were also missing for quite some times. Multiple times.
Yeah.
They were found, but then found again.
When I rewrote this part, I basically wrote quite a time, which is the correct way to say it.
Yes. It turns out that the Eggcorns... Acorns.
You said eggcorn, which sounds delicious.
That's kind of how it's pronounced around my region of the country.
Your region is wrong!
Probably. Were hiding themselves in a secluded place known as Knothole.
Yep.
Only to be casually found by some flying badniks during a routine patrol session.
Basically, I was criticizing the fact that in the animated series, the freaking robots could not ever find this freaking hidden base, even though it was in the forest that was literally neighboring the city.
Casually found it. Doobie-doo-doo. Hey Josh, how about that wife and kids? Oh look, village!
Destroy.
The place was burnt and the two were captured. Luckily for them, the little group happened to encounter a very young Kitsune on their way.
I'm starting to hate you now.
When he saw the impending danger, something inside him snapped! Before any of them could register, the kit was somehow, out of pure luck or whatever, able to destroy all 5 mechanical bees that were desperately trying to zap him.
Yes, by the way, they were mechanical bees. Perhaps I should have introduced that. earlier on.
I'm also
just called them buzz bombers.
also
I actually did not know that.
Also, I can't help but reference this line, but Pokemon scene where James says, where Jesse James and Meowth go like, even the writers don't know how we got how that.
Yeah.
After that display of courage and bad writing, the young one fainted, mainly due to a wound in his left side.
To his left side, it should have been.
To his left side.
Who wrote this piece of... Oh, wait. No, I didn't say that.
My left side,
My really nondescript area of my left side.
It's the flank, but anyway.
Okay.
There went my lung.
After that course of events, such an awkward way of writing that.
I know.
The news spread, and Miles Prower became a national hero.
Yep.
Which was a thing that he, despite his shy personality, despised.
Also, I should mention, he was also the first fox on Mars, the first fox to become president. He discovered the cure against cancer. He defeated racism.
Yeah, he kicked racism in the face.
Forever.
Oh boy.
And the bad guys lost forever this time.
Yes, the bad guys will not laser the city anymore.
Indeed.
Like the Powerpuff
After
Girls.
a while, Miles discovered to have a peculiar ability with machinery and a superior intellect.
Oh God!
A peculiar ability with machinery. He could make machinery talk.
You could just say a natural talent with machinery. That could have worked.
Yes, I could have said that, but instead I said peculiar ability. Sue me.
Someone said that his IQ was even superior to the one of Dr. Eggman himself.
That's from canon, to my
Yes,
defense.
that is definitely from canon. Well,
That's
yeah.
the only good part of it.
Correctly, his IQ was 300.
More or less.
No, actually it says that his IQ is allegedly 300. Everything says allegedly.
Anyway, yeah, please. Yes, I know.
please.
Except the sneer for later on.
Okay. That was one of the reasons why the doctor wanted his two tails on a silver platter. They look like they would be extremely delicious, I suppose.
Or maybe it's a metaphor.
Tails and his family were forced to leave West Side Island.
Yeah, it's from the second game. It's the area of the second game. The total area of the second game.
Ross just suddenly is stunned in silence.
Okay, and moved to the most secure and protected zone in the Mobian country, the Mystic Ruins.
Well, Tails did have his workshop in the Mystic Ruins in Sonic Adventure, to my
Yeah,
defense.
it was like a really obvious place right by the train station.
It was actually facing on a cliff in perfect view of everyone.
Yeah. Real secure place, guys. Okay. And Eggman also had a Mystic Ruins base. Just saying.
Well, not in this story, at least.
Oh.
Also, I seem to confuse Mystic Ruins with the forest of Sonic Satayam in this story, as you will notice.
Carry on.
The Mystic Ruins, a large, almost impenetrable ancient forest.
See? Confusion there.
Apparently forests can be ruins.
Tails' family lived peacefully in their sweet little home just outside the forest. But wait, if you're going to put the home outside of the nearly impenetrable forest, wouldn't it be better to build it in the impenetrable forest so I don't know the bad guys couldn't get to you?
Yes, you'd think so.
It's reverse psychology. They expect that.
It's not just outside the forest, it's facing on a cliff.
Yes. The forest was also the hidden operational base of a private and famous militia created by Sally Eggcorn.
Here we go.
Right after her rescue, the Freedom Fighters.
Yay!
By the way, it's like the most generic name ever.
Yes, but it's from the cartoon, so...
I know.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sally personally wanted Tails to be a part of it due to his intelligence and skills. Yeah, that's not how that went in, like, the...
Yeah,
Tails
I know.
is the character who got funny kisses.
I know, this is different, though.
Ah, boy. Despite the obvious reluctance of his family, they really didn't want their child to be hurt or worse. Just like any caring parents, unlike Cream's mom.
Oh, can you imagine parents meeting up and they're like, oh, our son is staying at home playing video games. How about your daughter? Oh, she's off with the heroes destroying robots.
At
The
least
boy
she's contributing
accepted
to
the
the
offer
society.
and joined the group. The Freedom Fighters militia became, in little time, a large group that was able to spread all over the Mobian country. Or Mobius, for shorts.
That was necessary.
For shorts.
For shorts. Because they needed all of the male undergarments.
I wear
Because
my
if they
shorts.
did not have them, they would not be able to cover the non-existent crotches.
But Ross, don't you see? They like their short shorts.
Oh yeah, Sonic is technically naked.
All of them are basically naked.
Except the women.
Yeah, the women wear clothes, except they don't wear underwear. I don't
Except
think.
Sally.
Sally wears a vest. That's it.
Okay, so please continue.
And she was pink, then turned the brown, just miraculously one day.
Okay, go on.
It even successfully cooperated with Gun to achieve important victories over the Eggman Empire, and freeing some cities from its grip.
This is extremely disturbingly vague.
Yeah.
Yeah. That, of course, didn't please the fat scientist.
He's not fat, he's jolly.
Please be pleased.
I don't know, you would think that he would launch a counterattack and destroy Gun and the Force because, he's completely capable of it. Why hasn't he yet?
Because he's going to.
Oh, okay. He's like, I'll just get around to it next Tuesday. Doctor Who's on. Okay. In the time being, Tails, young as he was, became a full-trained fighter.
Fully trained, I should.
Genius and an excellent pilot.
Also discovered the cure against cancer and all of that.
Wow, this is really making my freaking current D&D character look like a plausible alternative.
You're serious.
Well, okay, so yes, this is not the best way to introduce a story, period, but to my credit, like I said before, I'm going to make everyone's life as miserable as I possibly can, because that's our character development.
The worst thing is, most of this is still kind of canon,
Yeah.
so I can't really throw this out there that, you're not technically destroying Tails' character here. It's just you're being extremely vague about how the fuck he was managed to do this in 8 years.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't give a crap about the
Told
game.
him
This is just
mechanical gadgetry.
Okay.
Even with a high IQ, you can't just learn machinery until someone explains it first.
And suddenly fly when you're born with high IQ.
That was
explosion.
That was instinctual.
Oh, okay, so we're just going to say it's because of its magical second tail.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's
It's chaos.
It's chaos. His most prized creation was an airplane known as the X-Tornado. A combat design plane capable of achieving impressive speeding other
Other cool stuff.
I love this.
It's got a cup holder in it.
Yeah, that was meant to be childish on purpose.
And he also has seat belts.
Yeah, seatbelts, it turns into a robot, and it plays La Cucaracha on its horn. It was like the best thing ever.
Okay.
Right now, Tails was running back to his base before heading home. By running, you mean flying? Because
continue. Read the next sentence.
As running, I mean he was using his namesakes to propel himself and moving forward at impressive speed. There I go.
Thank you.
Why did you have to write that sentence? Why did you just say he was doing that?
Because I know it's because I'm trying to be witty. I don't know.
Speed, indeed, was another gift that his appendages had brought him. That was by no means. He was by no means the fastest 2 feet on Mobius.
The fastest being on 2. Oh, jeez. Jesus, Ross.
Fastest thing on 2 feet in Mobius. But at least he thought he was. But that's another story.
He then becomes the butt monkey of Sonic for all the games to come.
Well, not in this story, it doesn't.
Hey, the guy managed to take Luigi in a fight.
Anyway, okay, so now there is this really small conclusion to the paragraph. Somewhere in the southwest of the Mystic Ruins, she was running with all her efforts. Oh, I could have said all her might, so the counter could start.
Nope.
Anyway, running faster than any normal Mobian could hope to run. She wasn't, however, a normal Mobian. As a matter of fact, she probably wasn't even an animal.
Oh.
One thing was clear, though. She was scared. She was scared to death that they could capture her, torture her, and even kill her. Just like her parents did to her. Oh. Sorry. Similar to a certain bullpen, she was unique. And she needed help.
So it's rule 3, Sonic?
No, it's Cosmo.
So rule 63 Tails, basically.
No, it's not Cosmo is the alien plant girl from Sonic X.
I think the way you wrote it didn't quite come across.
It sounded like you just gender swapped Sonic and threw him in there.
I said it was not. I implied she wasn't an animal, so you know.
You can put a basic description of her in.
It's basically a cliffhanger. Hey, you want to know who this girl is? Come from chapter 2. It's basic cliffhanger 101.
Yes, find out who this nondescript girl is who just comes out of nowhere and why should we care about her?
Yes!
That's right. Because you're giving us so many compelling characters. Like Tails, the guy that can do anything.
Okay.
Disappearing for one paragraph.
I need to explain this. This whole thing started as a one-shot. This whole chapter was supposed to be a one-shot of a possible reimagining of the universe. But then I decided, you know what? I'm going to actually write a story out of this premise. The problem is...
thank God you would never have heard the end of it if this was just all you had written.
Yeah,
it's like,
seriously,
wow, the most dry, boring thing ever witnessed by man.
Okay, so, any questions? Thoughts?
I think I've already torn apart your story as is.
Good. In that case, let's continue to chapter 2, which is...
Is this only first draft?
I'm gonna say this. It's still better than
the Eye of Argon.
Dear Lord!
Well, it's still
walls of text everywhere.
Well, it's still better than the Eye of Argon. At least this is legible.